Hey guys, let's talk about gun storage. So when you're storing your guns, whether it's just overnight or whether you're storing them for a long time in between use or anything, you want to make sure that you store them in an environment that is not going to have a whole lot of humidity in it. If you're just storing in one of the one gun vaults or just the little safes that hold one or two guns, and you're just doing it overnight or something along those lines when you're not carrying the gun, then you're not going to really have to worry that much about humidity in those, because those really aren't airtight safes anyway. So they're going to let the air kind of exchange a little bit in them as well, so that it's not going to have the buildup of humidity in there. But if you were worried about it, you could always get some of the little desiccant packs and throw in there just to make sure that it doesn't build up any humidity. And then if you get your gun wet or if you've sweated a lot that day, just make sure you wipe the gun down before you put it up into whatever area that you're going to store it for the evening, whether it's a safe or whatever. Just wipe it down so that it doesn't have any moisture on it when you're storing the gun, because guns with the metal, they don't like moisture. Even with the finishes that you can get on guns nowadays, whether it's stainless steel or the Parkerized finishes or the Cerakotes, any of that stuff, if it gets any little nicks or anything in them, and then moisture starts to get to that bare metal, then you're going to start getting a little bit of rust on those things. So you want to make sure that you're checking your guns regularly to make sure they're not getting any rust. But if you have the floor safes, like a lot of guys have at home to store lots of guns, then you want to make sure that these things, that you do keep the humidity out of them, because they are more airtight, because they normally will have a fire rating on them of anywhere from 30 minutes on up, depending on how much you want to pay for these things and how much insulation and fire protection and different sealants that they've got in these things. So when you have the safes like this, then you want to make sure that you have some kind of dehumidification in there, and that you have something in there so that you can check and see what the humidity level is in your safe. So let me get this one opened up and I'll show you what I do in mine. With the way I've got my safe set up, I've got the hygrometer here that I keep in the safe, and it shows me what the humidity level is, what the minimum is and what the maximum has been. So it's staying in between a 45 and 55% humidity. As soon as you open the door, then the humidity level starts to go up in there, because it lets the moist, humid air from the inside the house come in. This tells you what the temperature is, and somehow it's gotten over to Celsius, which is not supposed to be. I'll change that, get back to Fahrenheit. Oh, there we go. So right now it's 73 degrees temperature wise and 56% humidity. And the temperature normally stays between 65.8 and 73 degrees. So it's going up because I've got the door open here on the safe. But I normally keep that in there, and that tells me what the humidity level is at. But what I use to try to keep the air drier in the safe to be able to keep the humidity down is I've just got one of the electric dry bar dehumidifiers. It just heats the air in the safe, so it just emits a little bit of heat around the perimeter of this bar, and as the warm air rises, it helps dehumidify the air. So, and depending on how humid an area you live in, if if you're down at the beach or somewhere like that that is real humid, then you may want to do something that is even more than that. Have some desiccant in here to help dry out the air some. Have something that actually circulates the air inside the safe so that it helps keep the air drier, and also just keeps the air circulating around the gun so that moisture doesn't build up on any of the firearms that are in the safe. So all of the ones that I've got in here, I mean, they're fine as far as they don't have any moisture or anything on them with the moisture there. So you can even see is when I brought the hygrometer out, the humidity level went up, but as soon as I put it back in the safe, the humidity level, even with the door open, is lower in the safe than it is out here in the room. If we had the air conditioner in the room turned down a little bit more and it was drawing more moisture out of the air, then we'd have a little bit lower humidity in the room itself. But we want to be able to comfortably stay in the house without having to wear a coat. So you don't want to have the room too cold, because then you have some the moisture related stuff building up when you have different extremes of temperature as well. You have that same problem if you're outside on a cold day and you're sweating and then your gun starts to get a little damp as well, or if it's a real humid day, and so you can have some temperature extreme causing problems with the moisture on the guns as well. But with your safe, keep a dehumidifier in there to be able to keep the moisture out of the safe, and anywhere that you're storing your guns, have some kind of dehumidification, if it's especially if it's a big area like that could possibly trap moisture in there. But just keep the air dry around your guns, in the same way wherever you're storing your ammo, keep the ammo dry. Temperature is not as much of an issue, but the humidity is always going to be the problem that you're looking for when you're storing guns or storing ammo. It's always that moisture that's going to cause problems. So check out doubleeaglegunworks.com for more information, and we'll talk to you later. Like and subscribe down at the bottom. Talk to you later.